Welcome to SAS Global Forum 2016, Fishing for Success in the Wild with SAS and Oracle. My name is Maureen Chu. The state of Texas bet big on the promise of cloud for their open government initiative. Today we'll hear how the benefits are paying off for one of the 28-plus agencies that depend on the Oracle Exadata and Supercluster family of engineered systems. You'll hear some very interesting insight from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Agency around four themes. 1. Their transition to the cloud. 2. How they use SAS and Oracle to bring better services and accountability to the citizens of Texas. 3. Lessons learned on performance tips and efficiencies. And 4. Insight into the necessity of having multidisciplinary skills in today's organizations. Welcome, Alejandro.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandro Farias, and I'm a financial analyst here at Texas Parks and Wildlife. Actually coming at you from the headquarter office in Austin, Texas. I've been working for Parks and Wildlife for about 10 to 15 years now. I work for the planning analysis and reporting team here for the Administrative Resources Division. And over the last 5 years, we've done some really wonderful things with SAS and Oracle, and I wanted to share some of that with you today. Over the last couple of years, we've had a very significant switch in the way that we do business here in Texas, and our state representatives looked forward and wanted to move Texas in a positive way and started looking at adopting cloud technologies here in the state. And we were one of the very first states actually to adopt legislation that allowed us to move a lot of our databases into a database as a service and into Supercluster. And as we go through this process of moving and consolidating more of our agencies to a centralized location, we're moving toward that in order to provide a platform that will allow our citizens to access their government in a different way than they have in the past. And it's very exciting. We, as a state, are actually the first in the United States to deliver these types of services in the cloud. So Texas has partnered with Oracle to deliver a cloud-enabled state service which consolidated 28 agencies and deliver those services to nearly 30 million citizens. Now that has given us the ability to provide services to our constituents in the state and provide them a one-stop shopping area for them so that they can customize those services to themselves. And here at Texas Parks and Wildlife, we've done a lot with not only that ability, but we've integrated it with our existing SAS BI environment, which has enabled us to do some really exciting things. So our roles as analysts have changed through time. We've had a lot of technology come in over the last 10 to 15 years, but the ability to take that technology is also reshaping the way that we look at our information. And even that of a data scientist who's really versed in many, many disciplines. My personal discipline was actually resource economics. And but that is a very single discipline. We ended up studying different types of disciplines, computer information technology, SQL design, where we've molded ourselves into these much more broader type analysts that come with more than just one, what I would like to call one discipline under their belt. And this ability to take that information allows us to be able to speak to not only our IT department, but to be able to talk to our business units and try to bridge the gap between how those two different folks talk to each other. And so understanding the architecture so that we can speak in the framework of the IT area, and then understanding what the business end or business units are needing, whether it's financial reporting or transactional information, we're able to not only set up all of the information for them, but then also build information that is very specific to our end users. One of the things that we like to do here at Parks and Wildlife is really stress strategic problem solving by understanding and applying a broader knowledge base. And what I mean by that is we do have folks that have more than one discipline under their belt, and it really leads to being able to, like I said, approach a problem with many different angles. One of the things that we did here to improve our ability to deploy resources was we looked at, and was it one of the initial projects that we purchased our SAS BI server for, was to try to better understand our customers. And one of the things that led to this was the ability to identify a business goal, which was we wanted to look at impacting revenue and try to better deploy our resources to improve the customer experience. And so, we designed this concept of LURS, which is the License Utilization and Revenue Enhancement System, to be able to look at every touch point that a customer has with Parks and Wildlife. And to be able to gather that information, we needed to be able to integrate and cleanse and secure all that data, and then track all of those customers, whether it was a state parks customer or a boat registration and titling customer or licensed customers, and be able to centrally build that database so that we knew what our customers liked and what they were interested in buying from us. A primary example of how we used our data to better deploy our resources was our neighborhood fishing program, which is a very popular program. The reality of that neighborhood fishing program is we wanted to be able to give a better experience for those that enjoy fishing, but one of the largest problems that we face is access to fishing. So we wanted to look at the purchase patterns of all those people that were buying fishing licenses. We talked about where they were buying them, and then where they were accessing those opportunities. And then we even looked at our demographics and where revenue was being generated from. And so when we decided on where to stock fish, we were able to strategically place our resources in areas where we knew we were going to have the most ability to impact our customers, which was to provide better access and an opportunity for fishing. So we've used the power of SAS and Supercluster to really do something that's exciting for us. We've actually, in 2013, I ended up winning an employee recognition award for it. We did some automated reconciliation out of our Oracle financial system to our state accounting system, and that process was taking days to complete, and we automated it now so that we can actually do that reconciliation in minutes. We've used highly optimized Oracle SQL, and we've actually customized that and be able to use a lot of in-database processing in Oracle, which is very useful. And we've also been able to improve that advanced reporting from, like I said, almost building in the thinking for it. We call it smart reporting, where it does a lot of the journal and accounting matching on its own and integrity checkpoints. And it's, like I said, one of the things that we're most proud of here. We've developed a whole training around that particular report, and it's really helped us move forward as far as being able to address certain situations where we're having to change or update our accounting procedures, and it's really helped us to streamline a lot of the work that we had been doing. And we've actually had really positive results. We've gone through several audits where we've actually come out with no findings because of it. So we're really proud of that, and hopefully we'll be able to take that into the next series of reconciliation reporting, where we're using some of the other tools that SAS and both Oracle provide. So this slide is actually a quick view of our SAS Business Intelligence Server and our Oracle Supercluster. Our SAS BI server is a 3-tier server. It's a meta, mid, and compute tier. As we moved on to Database as a Service and Supercluster, we saw a nice performance improvement. What was even more impressive is when they started adding additional agencies to that Supercluster, we saw little to no performance degradation whatsoever. One of the things that we learned early on was the SID rename technique for SAS migration to a new Oracle instance. And the metadata that is set up on the SAS side is specific to a particular library. And as we moved from one instance of Oracle to another, we realized that there was an easy way to do this and there was a hard way to do this. And the easy way to do it was to go through and rename the SID so that you wouldn't have to change the metadata structure on the SAS side. And this technique was very simple. The reason we ended up learning it is because we tried to do it the hard way the first time. And we realized that we were going to have to change so much of our metadata structure that we looked for a better way of doing it. And we figured out that we could rename the servers within the SID so that the SID would not have to change on the TNS names file and would then keep the integrity of the metadata structure that we had developed. One of the other things we ended up doing was to improve the speed of the data retrieval. We went through and we audited a lot of the old legacy scripts that we had that came with our reporting tool. And we wanted to look at those and make sure that they were built in a way that they were optimized for the Oracle supercluster as well as the SAS side. And so we would take those scripts and audit them. We would run in SQL Developer, we would run explain plans so that we could optimize and make sure that they were very efficient jobs. And then one of the techniques that we use quite a bit of is in database processing, and we wanted to be able to maximize and leverage the power, the compute power of supercluster. And what it ends up doing is it ends up freeing up SAS resources for our end users here at Parks and Wildlife. So we do shift a lot of those jobs over to the Oracle supercluster because it's just a lot easier to actually compute some of those financial reports and then surface them back up in SAS.
In your experience, what have been some of the top optimizations that you've found in your SAS environment that benefited from some of the SQL optimization?
One of the things that we point to, especially when we're looking at optimizing SQL, was we always look at what the end user is trying to accomplish. And, to be able to trim down a SQL pool and to just pull exactly what you're looking for and not have a wide open piece of SQL that's pulling more than what you need. So we stopped the concept of pulling everything and then only cherry picking what you need out of this. It alleviates a lot of the processing. That's what we call overhead that really doesn't need to happen on either server. For example, some of the other things that we did was we started serving up information in different methods. So we realized that OLAP cubes actually worked better for particular types of reports. Stored processes worked better for live reports. And then information maps, again, either hitting Oracle supercluster or our SAS metadata, were used for different types of reconciliation. So depending on the nature of the end user and what they were trying to accomplish, we would basically pick the right cocktail of tools to put together for them.
So minimizing the amount of data that's transferred back down to, sometimes that's kind of obvious, but I bet a lot of users don't actually realize that that's happening in a lot of cases. Have they been surprised?
Yes, and in fact, a lot of times, and it's only natural when we have stuff that's developed. It's usually developed by an outside consulting firm, and so there's always opportunities to go in there and audit some of the work that they've done, and we typically do that. And so when we go through and audit those SQL scripts, and we visit with the end user, we kind of show them, this is where it's starting from, and sometimes they're a little bit surprised at what it's doing in order to get some of their output. And so we go through there and we create a different method based on that SQL that's a little bit more specific to what that end user is looking for. And they see, a pretty drastic improvement in not only what they're getting, but what we add to it as well. So that's another thing that we like to do is we improve its purpose. And so we as we audit, we're looking for ways to, I want to call it, to automate a little bit of what that end user is doing with that data as it's being generated. So we're taking something that he's manually doing with it after he outputs it and build that into, if we can, into the script.
Is that how you got your role of data ninja?
Yeah, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that. We had a gentleman who used to work with us, and he actually coined the phrase SAS Ninja, and it kind of stuck with me because a lot of the techniques that we teach is we call it an analytic tactic, and so it comes from different areas, and we always we got a little kick out of it because his son was heavily into karate and ninjas, and so he came in one day and he was in our class and he said, "You're like a data ninja. You're like a SAS ninja," because we're teaching people not only how to clean and conform data. We were teaching people how to analyze, the technique of going in and looking for pattern recognition in data, and teaching them what that means, how to forecast. So there was different techniques that we were teaching them, and it kind of got stuck to me.
So this is a very important role in organizations then, is you have a very unique skill set where you have the SAS skills and you also have database skills.
You said it very clearly. It does take a little bit of understanding of more than one discipline, and being able to understand not only the tools that are available through Oracle, but also have the tools that are available to you in SAS, to be able to, like I said, you want to be able to pick the right cocktail to be able to produce the right report for the right person, and being able to explain something to somebody who's strictly an IT department and talk in database terms so that you understand what metadata is, what security is, and how to have that set up, and then be able to just turn around and be able to talk to an end user about what a financial report is doing, and be able to understand where he's coming from and understand what he's trying to accomplish. It does take a certain type of person, and so I always tell people that there is this. I don't know what to call them. They're these new analysts that have a very broad knowledge base, and I've met a few of them, but they're few and far between. But they bring more than one discipline, and they're really good communicators usually. And it's funny that when I go to other places, and it's also a matter of resource, because we are a state agency. We don't have the ability to have someone specialize in one thing. We have to have usually folks that specialize in more than one thing, because we're always trying to be more efficient with the state's tax dollars. So it's we try to tend to learn more, do a little bit more, based on what resources we have. So when I go to a private company and I tell them that I understand how to set up the metadata structure in SAS, and then I understand how to build an OLAP cube, and what an index is, and what an Oracle supercluster looks like, and what IO is, and then I understand how to do a reconciliation report with a debit and a credit, most of them look at me like I'm kind of, what are you talking about? Because we have so many different things that we do, and usually they're just assigned, well, we're just going to do Information Map Studio or Oracle, or they're just going to do reconciliation reporting. It's very rare to meet someone that understands all of those aspects.
Thank you very much, Alejandro.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again soon.
Okay. Alejandro, it's wonderful how you're able to take your SAS, database, IT, and business knowledge out to a huge community who can benefit from your experience. Thank you so much. Here are a few pointers if you'd like more information about what you heard today.